Whoever's Gru, if you don't do the voice, I'm not speaking to you
No,
for a week.
I feel like Bella should be Gru.
What?
I'm
Oh, that
not
would be
being
hard
Oh
anyone.
my
actually, I
god.
think.
Are you
That'd be
not being
hard.
anyone?
No.
Aw.
Why not?
Wait, what?
Come on.
Wait, can everybody
It's an
see
event
Serum?
for everyone, Bella dog. Like,
Can everybody
This
see
is
you
this
wanted
is
to
like
voice
we
this, gang. You have to.
this is just like when we do a beat battle and Bella doesn't submit.
Yeah, this is fucked up. I personally am gonna start the Blizzcode Union.
We can discuss this later, okay?
Yeah,
We can
let's
discuss
Yeah,
unionize.
okay, my fault, my
Um,
I
fault.
love unionizing.
This
Same.
Can
this
everybody
is
see
anem0s
Serum or
doing
no?
drum sound design.
Let's go,
Feel
Animals.
free to, or as long as anem0s is fine with it, feel free to pitch in with questions, but don't be rude, of course. Only pitch in if you actually have questions.
Yes.
Yep.
But yeah, feel free to start whenever, anem0s.
Yes. Wait, can everybody see this Serum or no?
Let me check.
No.
No?
No.
Here, I'll just use Vital. Let's see if that works. How's that?
No.
What?
Yes.
No, yeah. Now we
Oh,
can
you
hear.
can see it? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I usually use Serum, but I'll just use Vital because you can actually see it on the stream. But all right, so I guess let's start with snares and like. So my like main design philosophy, like going into making sounds, is like, you know, if you want to make a certain sound, you kind of have to think about how, like, what goes into making it. So like, say you want to make a snare drum, like if you want to do like a dubstep snare, right, or like, you know, that kind of sound, like there's gonna be a tonal bass to that. It's not just gonna be white noise, and most sounds have like a tonal bass, but like when you combine the white noise with it, it kind of makes it sound more like a percussion element than like melodic elements. So but yeah, so basically what I usually start off with, so like if you're making a snare, this is pretty basic, but so you get LFO, make something like that, make sure it's on envelope mode, and then you make another one, and then this one will be for the, so one of these is going to go to this level. Let me make sure that's right. No. Yeah, there we go. And I'll just make here, I'll show you. Make a note real quick. Usually I just do F because it usually sounds the best with drums. I don't know why. And then you can pitch it around after you like get a sound. But yes, and I'll just loop that. Something like that. Yeah, there we go. So we have this little sign, and then so we add a little bit of white noise to that. That's super loud. Pitch that up or something like that. And then I guess just compress. Yeah. So like a lot of times, like making a sound, I'll just kind of like, you know, you start off with like, I usually start off with something like this. Like, it always starts the same way, and then I just kind of take it where I like feel like it should go. It's not like, that's like how I get different sounds, which is like just making the same thing every time. It's just kind of like how I feel. I'm like, oh, this sounds cool. There's a lot of experimentation with it. But so I don't know if y'all know like compression and like how to like, I guess process transients with compression. But like if you turn the attack up, that's gonna make your transient like louder because it's taking longer to compress the sound. And then if you turn the release down, it also makes the transient shorter. Because like if you make the release longer, it's gonna be compressing for longer. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, so oops. Yeah, there's a lot of bass in that, so we're just gonna get that out real quick. Like a low pass or something. Or high pass, I guess. There we go. And that's too long. So I'm gonna turn this down to like, yeah. So you're kind of getting a kind of a snare sound there. There we go. So that's more of a snare sound there already. There you go. So now I just distortion, and what I'm gonna do is make a really short one like this, so, and then we get like that hit on the transient. See, that's already kind of sounding like a, more like a snare. And you could like flip through these and figure out what sounds best. And I think I want that to be a little shorter. And then we'll do some EQ stuff. And actually, I'm not really sure how to do some of the automation on EQ. I guess it's like that, yeah. Okay. What did I just do? Oh, oops. I see. Oh, okay, I see. I get it now. My bad. But yeah, so we're gonna do this. Okay, yeah. So one of these. So we're gonna make it. So if you think about like an actual snare drum, it's like there's that hit and then it kind of opens up. So like this sound is gonna be really like the hit is gonna be very like kind of mid frequency because there's a lot of like you know, bass in that hit. So and then it's gonna sweep upwards as like the sound rings out. So like if you think about it like a drop, like a water droplet hitting in like a pool of water, you know, there's like that big drop in the middle and then it kind of fizzles out. So that we're gonna emulate that with like the frequency sweeping upwards. So yeah, we can do that. And that's going reverse. Let's make that faster. Yeah, that's good. And then maybe not that fast. So you already got more of like a snare sound there. It's kind of clipping, so I'm going to put this before. So you kind of got a little starter sound there. And then from here, like once you kind of get like the bass sound, you could just kind of work from there, I guess. So like, I can kind of mess with this transient. maybe I'll do some like FM or something like that for fun. So yeah, just like kind of messing around with things and experimenting and like kind of seeing where that goes. So it's mostly the white noise that makes that kind of like more of a percussion element versus like the sine wave kind of gives it a more melodic tone. Because if I turn this off, see, it's just like sounds like white noise, but here it sounds more like a snare, because a real snare in real life is gonna have like that tonal element to it. Yeah. So now I can do some crazy stuff like. So like say I do that and then kind of put an object on it. Something like that.
Sorry, someone just mentioned that, but we can't see the cursor, so it would be nice if you like say what knob you're
My
touching.
bad. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here I'm just like messing out the feedback in the mix and like kind of wanted to get like a ringy sound or something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna get a flanger too. The cool thing is about flangers is you can freeze them like this and then just get that like flange down and just mess with the feedback. So that's what I'm doing here. Maybe I say like, oh, I want to automate this kind of flanger. Let's see what that sounds like. that's kind of cool. Kind of want to do it faster though, so. There you go. Something like that. Then I'm gonna get reverb and then automate that too. So a lot of like sound design is just automation and like, you know, putting knobs, like putting like LFOs and stuff, and then, you know, kind of messing around with it and see where that goes. I don't want it to be that big, so. Yeah, I'm just gonna mess around with these low cuts and high cuts. Maybe chorus. I don't know. Just putting an effect on it and seeing what happens.
See, there's personal and external.
There we go. Yeah, it's a pretty good start for now. I kind of want to clean up that transient. So now what I'm going to do is just bounce out this sound. So I'll just resample it. So now we have this sound. Sounds like that. So hopefully this plugin will show up, because if not, it's going to be kind of annoying. But so my main plugin that I use for a lot of sound design is just it's called Pinch. Hope you guys can see that. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is just like it's cool. It's like a everything plugin kind of. So it's like a soft clipper, a limiter. It compresses with this knob. You know, you can add air and presence into the sound, and also shape the transient. So there's just like a lot of stuff you can do with this plugin, which I really like. But so say we take that sound, I want to compress it a lot. So it's like something like that, and then so that already sounds more like a snare. And you can like go really crazy with the compression of this plugin. Like, it can get pretty loud. See, so I have that sound now without it. Now I'm gonna bounce it again, actually, just to mess with it more. All right, and then turn that off. Okay, good. So now I'm just gonna. I use a lot of OTT a lot when I working with drum sound design. So again, with the time knob, like, this is gonna give it more of a transient. This will give it less of a transient. Kind of hear that. I always turn the amount down. Glue compressor. Same thing. And then I can pitch that around. I feel like it's a little too tonal, so maybe I'll take like sometimes I'll even cut that and then just move it.
Oh, that's cool.
So now it's more of like
Damn.
kind of crossfade that. Kind of like that though, where it's separated. Let's try that. And also when I sound design, I like, if I do anything like that, I always save an old version of it. If I want to go back to it, just put it over there. So now we got the sound. And then I can even put this back on it. It's gonna be loud. That's kind of a cool sound. But yeah. A lot of times it's like, you know, taking that sound, putting it back through things, you know, pitching it around. But doing that until like, you know, you kind of get some cool sounds. And you can get a lot of sounds from like one sound that you bounce out of like Vital or Serum or something.
They're
like that.
trying to make me.
But yeah, so, and then I'll show you how to make kicks. That's probably all I have time for. But kicks are pretty easy. It's a lot of the same. Like the main thing with kicks for me is like, that I find works a lot is just like bouncing it out over and over and over. And then like reprocessing it. And that's how I do a lot of my kicks. But that's how they get like super compressed and just fat. So I'll just start again. So I have that, get a sine wave, move that down. Then, pretty simple, LFO1, make that like that. Envelope, move it to global voice transpose. Make that faster. Something like that. And then we're gonna... There we go. Okay. So you have that sound. Sometimes I'll even layer it with like a higher. And then also I'm gonna do this and just so we don't have to worry about that. I'll just set the level with the LFO. The way around. So compress, and then wait, yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna make the lows and the mids not as compressed, but we're still getting that upward compression with that. Yeah, I don't really like how that laser kind of transient's hitting. That's a little better. I kind of want it to be lower, so I'm gonna put this back down an octave. There we go. And that's clipping, but we'll fix that. Distortion, same thing. You just make something like that. Envelope, drive. We're already getting that kind of kick sound. Then you could also do some EQ automation if you're cool and want to do that. So, Yeah, so just kind of like doing it by ear. Like, there's a lot of like techniques that you can take, like playing techniques, and then, you know, go from there, I guess. Like, you know, learning how to automate the EQ like that, kind of like emulate what it's actually going to sound like, things like that. I don't want it to be like super clipped, because we're going to work with it later. Oh, I kind of like that, the squeaky sound. Let me do this. Yeah, we could work with that. Alright, so now turn this down so it's not clipping. And I'm gonna resample it back into this thing. So now we have that weird little kick sound. And that's already processed with the settings we had before. I'm just gonna do the same thing. Compress the lows and mids a little less. Just mess around with that. And that's a little too much high end for me, so I'm gonna get an EQ here. Forgot I had the patch on that one too. I'm gonna delete that one. And if you ever like need more kick in your kick, just boost 80 hertz. It's like the biggest like kind of kick frequency. Yeah, so I'm gonna make that louder. Turn that on. Then we're gonna process it in here. I feel like it's a little too tonal for me right now, so I'm gonna just cut that and then pitch it down, and also make it mono because I think it's not. It's better. Yeah, so then, like I was saying earlier, it's just like processing and then reprocessing. So I'm going to take that sound, run it back through this. And I don't want it to be that harsh, so I'm going to EQ this too out here. There we go. Okay. Then we're just going to do that a couple more times. And that's how you get kicks. Let me do that like 2 more times. This isn't the best kick ever, but if you mess around with it more, you can get better sounds. Something like that. And just gonna mess around with the compression a little bit. Do that again. Save that sound. It's starting to sound like a good kick. Yeah, that's pretty good. So now I'm gonna get that sound again. And then if you ever have a sound, I don't really know how it works in, I think in FL there's just a button, but like if you ever have a sound and you want to like kind of clean it up, so turn that off. So we have this sound, right? So get rid of that fade. And then I always like to export with a little bit of space. So like if you have crossfade or like this little like intro fade thing on, it doesn't actually interfere with the transient. So do that. And then once you consolidate with the Control J, it'll normalize the sample. So, and now you have a kick. and I probably would like mess that a little more still. Like I want it to be a little more like subby. But yeah, that's good enough for now. But does anybody have any questions or anything? Like, sorry if I was like kind of quiet for a lot of it. A lot of sound design is like just kind of experimentation and stuff. So, but hopefully I was like vocal enough when I needed to be. But yeah, go ahead and ask any questions if you got any.
I think there's some questions in the VC, like not the VC voice
Oh, voice
overflow, but like
overflow?
the
My
actual
bad. I wasn't
VC.
checking it.
No, no, like the actual VC chat.
Let's see. How did you? It's Control J. Control J. Consolidate is just like, say I have this sound, right? And it's like all of this. What if I consolidate it? Control J. Now it's just this sample. It's a new sample. But that will normalize the volume as well. Yep. Normalize is just like, so say like the sample is like this. See how it's not hitting 0? Like if you normalize it, it just will make it so it's hitting 0 dB. So like the peak is going to hit 0 dB. Yep. And then like, yeah, just like the more you design sounds, the more you'll kind of like understand how to get sounds you want. It just kind of takes a lot of practice and, you know, experimentation and stuff. Oh yeah, yeah. If you freeze anything, like I could take that, and now it's the process version of that. Yeah. Alright, sorry the snare was like kind of ass. I'm gonna be honest, but some days you like it's hard to make certain sounds. But also, I'm not like as experienced in Vital, so I think that was part of it. But yeah, and I know there's like someone after, so they gotta go, or if they have to like present or whatever, I don't want to stop them. Oh yeah, it's just because in Ableton, like, they have, these are like on by default or whatever. It's a little fade. So if you like do this and then you consolidate, it's gonna mess with that transient. See, because now it's like that. Versus like if I did this, it kind of saves that audio, that volume. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Anyways, that was really fucking cool.
Yeah, no problem. And I can do, like, if people are, you know, want to see more of these and like have me explain how to make more sounds, or like I can do another. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, you can only like explain so much about sound design in like 30 minutes. There's a lot to it.
Definitely.
But all right, thanks y'all for being here and watching me make sounds.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
thank you so
Nima.
much.
Yes.